The more that you study Bitcoin and what it actually is, and the more that you free yourself from the slavery that is fiat currencies, specifically with the government backing those fiat currencies, right? The more you're going to understand that Bitcoin is actually a vigilante. Bitcoin is the vigilante that we didn't know that we needed as a society. We didn't even know that this kind of piece of technology was possible, right? Like, we know that Bitcoin itself is itself a sovereign way of moving money. It is the peer-to-peer system, as Satoshi Nakamoto, whoever that is exactly, that's the alias. It may be a group of people, maybe a singular person. They wrote that 9-page essay basically about how it is supposed to be and designed to be a peer-to-peer system. And so not using it in such a way like that would almost be to not fulfill its potential. And the more that you actually research fiat currency, the more that you realize just how ridiculous fiat currencies really are. And I mean, you're trusting these people in the government who are, mind you, only in it for themselves, because to be a part of the political system, I think, is to do great injustice to your soul ultimately. But number two is that these people are who created the problem of the fiat currencies are now saying that they have the solution for it. And you trust these people? You're trusting these same people that are claiming that everything in regard to what Bitcoin actually is and what Bitcoin has become is not true. It's part of the CIA, it's part of the, and you're going to believe these same people that have caused all of your issues? They're the ones that are taking away your purchasing power by the day, almost by the minute, if you really think about it, by the minute. They're taking away your purchasing power, and there's nothing that you can do about it. There's nothing you can do. You're forced to participate in that system. The great thing about Bitcoin is you don't have to participate in the system if you don't want to. And of course, not every system is going to have it's perfect. Like, there's going to be flaws to every system. But Bitcoin, the great thing about Bitcoin is that it's mathematical. It is masculine in the way that it presents itself to the world. Whereas it seems like fiat currencies and just most monetary currencies in general are more feminine. Now, what do I mean by that? Well, with the masculine currency that is Bitcoin, because it's not a crypto. I don't think Bitcoin is the same thing as a cryptocurrency, because with Bitcoin you can verify. Now, is it possible that there's a lot of hype going into Bitcoin? Of course. It's entirely possible that there's a lot of hype going into Bitcoin, but also, do you see a better option? I mean, do you really think fiat is the option available? Now, of course, fiat currencies are going to have their utility, but it's very engulfing. It takes everything in from you. And with women, for example, no matter what kind of woman is in your life, whether it's a friend, whether it's in a relationship, romantically, whatever, a woman is either adding to your life or she's taking away from it. And right now, the fiat system is basically the Oedipal mother who wants to just eat the child, and just this devouring mother archetype that just wants to eat the child and eat the children, because that's how she survives. She doesn't want to let go of the child. Whereas Bitcoin is this masculine figure that's basically saying, they're like it's not just dropping you in the water and being like, all right, buddy, go for a swim. It's not like that at all. What it's like is there's regulations in regard to, like, they're not really regulations either. How do I describe these? They're basically like guardrails for how you move in the system that is Bitcoin. And the thing about the system of Bitcoin is that it's not even really part of the system. It is part of the system, but it isn't part of the system. And I always say that I don't look at me buying Bitcoin or having Bitcoin for my business, because that's what I'm usually, whenever I'm attaining Bitcoin at this time, it's through my business. And so I'm not really buying Bitcoin. But if I do, let's say, to buy Bitcoin, all I'm really doing is just selling my fiat currency. Because what I'm aiming to do is move from the fiat currency as much as possible over into these other terms and other regards of monetary currencies that are not specifically fiat. Because have you ever known one single government made currency that has lasted? No, no, there's no such thing. And the average fiat currency only lasts about 50 years anyway, mathematically speaking. It can only last that long. So we have to remember that as we learn more about Bitcoin, as we learn more about what this is and how things are actually maneuvering through this day and age, we have to recognize that if we do not see Bitcoin as the vigilante that it is, it's kind of like an anti-hero to some degree for the monetary systems as well. But I also think that it's very encouraging to see this. It's encouraging to see that there is hope. There is and there's a fighting chance, right? That's another big thing, is that there's a fighting chance to what we have going on. There's a fighting chance to have this generational legacy and wealth being passed down to people in our families, etc. Because what else would you want to have happen in your life? I mean, literally, you're working for dollars that are, I mean, prices are going up, okay, for everything, or they're just staying the same. Jobs are not being adjusted to the inflation rates. And so you really want to keep trusting these inflation? Like, we have to fight the inflation, and it's not going to be with trusting people that created the problem to begin with. It's going to be with a new technology that is Bitcoin, I believe. And this is not to say that I'm a Bitcoin like only person. I fundamentally have an understanding of the importance of Bitcoin and how it can be playing a part in all of our futures. So with all that being said, I hope this message was useful and insightful for you. Peace. Until next time.